Hi guys! Welcome ulit sa aking mga cost accounting lessons. We're continuing our topic on process costing at pag-usapan naman natin paano pag multiple departments. So multiple departments, ibig sabihin ang manufacturing hindi lamang sa isang department, kumbaga unahin muna sa one department and then i-forward sa next. So more than one department. Tingnan natin ang nating sample problem. Dito sa bandang right, sana mabasa mo pa, Plaid Clad produces golf bags in a two-department process, assembly and finishing. So, you can imagine na may dalawang big rooms. Yung isang big room is lahat doon nangyayari assembly, the first part of the golf bag, putting it together. And then pagkatapos nun, only after na matapos yung golf bag sa assembly, ifa-forward dun sa finishing at saka na iko-kompleto yung golf bag. So, it's a sequential. So, doon muna and then sa next. You are tasked with preparing the cost of production for the finishing department. Yun yung second department. First thing, pag-usapan lang natin yung second department or yung subsequent department. Kasi yung first department, the way you do it for the first department is exactly the same as if one department lang. So walang issue sa first department. Ang issue ay nasa subsequent department. Kaya itong problem, gagawin natin yung sa finishing department, the second one. Assembly uses weighted average, while finishing department uses FIFO. Finishing tayo, so therefore FIFO tayo. The following is from Assembly Department's Cost of Production Report at makikita mo tong data na to coming from the previous department tinapon sa iyo. So, ang sabi sa report doon sa previous department, remember that each department will produce one cost of production report. At ang sabi doon sa ending ng Assembly Department, alala mo yung nasa baba, yung cost assignment portion, yung ipapakita na ilan na yung completed and transferred out. So makikita nito, transferred out cost, nakatapos daw sila ng 8,650 units times 21.8 yung total cost, therefore 188,570. Meron pa silang ending inventory, 70% complete daw, 7,732. Ngayon, as the subsequent department, what matters to you is their transferred out. Bakit? Kasi anong natapos doon, yun yung papasok sa'yo. So you can imagine that anong pumasok sa'yo for this period is that itatapon sa atin ng 8,650 units. Yun yung pinasa sa atin at 21.8 yung cost niya. So this will matter kasi that is coming in. Yung ending inventory na hindi pa nila tapos, will not matter to us kasi hindi pa siya tinapon sa atin. Now, let's go to finishing department. So, dito tayo. Sa ating departamento, meron daw beginning work in process inventory, 15% complete as to materials, 40% complete as to conversion, may 100 units. So, same thing, may beginning inventory tayo. And then units transferred in, 8,650. As a subsequent department, you do not start units technically. What you start is simply yung galing sa previous department. You're simply completing ano yung galing dun sa kabila. So therefore, yung unit started mo is essentially the units transferred in. Same thing. You're starting whatever they completed. That's the 8,650. And then ending inventory, 30% completed for materials, 65% complete as conversion at 200. So there. And then may costs tayo. Makikita natin dito sa baba. The usual costs, direct material and conversion costs. Meron tayong transferred in costs na papakita natin yan mamaya. Pero yung idea lang naman ito is that these are the costs that was not incurred in your department but rather incurred in the previous department na pinasa lang sa'yo. Okay. So, gawa tayo ng cost of production report, finishing department, cost of production report dito sa left. So, the cost of production report will be similar looking. except for some changes. I'll show you the changes later. Beginning inventory, una, remember sa production data, babalansehin natin yung units to account for and units to accounted for. So, beginning natin, look at your data, may beginning tayo na 100, same thing. Unit started, yung started natin is whatever comes from the previous. You don't really start it yourself, but parang same lang yung treatment, 8650. And therefore, units to account for, 8750. Now, remember na babalanse natin to, pareho dapat yung beginning plus started and completed and ending. Ang nakabigay lang naman sa atin yung ating ending na nandito, na sinabi yan ay 200. Di sinabi kulang, medyo bitin ang problem, di sinabi ilan ang completed. But you do know na babalanse ang beginning and started and completed and ending. So, given na you know the ending, that would follow na ang ating completed is the 8750 minus 200, 8550 yung completed para babalanse. Now, again, it's helpful to segregate the completed into anong galing sa beginning, tsaka what was started and completed. So, yung beginning natin, alam naman natin nun, na yun ay 100, and therefore, ang started to and completed natin is 8450. Notice, exactly the same. And then, magko-compute tayo ng EUP, as you would remember. Dito sa EUP, meron lang tayong dinagdag na column na transferred in referring to costs that come from the previous department. So, if you notice, normally, diba, nilalagay natin sa taas yung kinds of costs. Direct material cost, labor, overhead. Or kung sinamahan, direct material, and conversion. But, this time, sa subsequent department, meron tayong special column na isa ng tawagan natin transferred in. This refers to the costs that were passed on to us. So, you segregate the costs in your department, ito na yung direct material and conversion, and yung pinasa lang sa'yo na ilump mo na transferred in. Let's see how will that play out. Unahin natin yung familiar tayo, yung direct material and conversion. Familiar tayo dito. Remember, this is FIFO. So, sa FIFO, nilalagay mo lang yung portion ng beginning na tinapos mo ngayon. So, if that is the case, then look at the beginning inventory natin. Yung beginning natin was 15% complete as to materials, 40% complete as conversion. So, yung tinapos ngayon, out of the 100, is, since 15% complete na yon, ang tinapos for this period is 85%. So, 100, 85%, 85. Sa conversion naman, 40% complete daw. Sa beginning, ang tinapos ngayon therefore is 60%. So, 60 out of the 100 units. Started and completed. Dito muna tayo sa transferred in. Now, here's the idea of transferred in. Transferred in cost is always 100% complete. Kasi, galing yun sa kabila. And as from the context of the previous department, tapos na. So, transferred in is always 100% complete. So, remember, FIFO tayo, right? At nilalagay lang natin dito yung tinapos ngayon. And this is already 100% complete. So, 0. Started and completed. Alam naman natin na pareho lang naman to across all the three different kinds of costs. And then, ending. Same thing, Same thing. So, as to transferred in cost, remember that transferred in is always 100% complete. So, yung 200 dito sa ending, 200 yan. As to transferred in cost, tapos na siya because it was already fully incurred in the previous department. So, yan. Add natin yan. Tingnan natin ang formula. Yung sa direct material naman, as to ending inventory, remember dito sa ending inventory, yung portion na tapos. So, ending inventory, 30% complete as to direct material, 65% complete as to conversion. Yung assume dyan, 100% complete as to transferred in. So, materials, 30% complete times 30%. Conversion, 65% complete times 65%. And, ayan, nandito ang ating tatlong cost. So, very similar except for the transferred in column. Next, cost data, as usual. So, ang ating cost data dito sa ating given problem ay nandito binigay sa baba. So, you can see the costs as to the three different kinds of costs. So, copy na natin yan. As to beginning, yun yung tatlong beginning costs. There. And then, ano nga bang ita-transfer natin dito sa right? Alalahanin mo na ang method natin ay FIFO, and the beginning cost, the cost in beginning inventory is another thing. So, i-separate natin yan. Remember na hindi natin siya i-carry over papuntang right pag FIFO. Current period cost, syempre, all of these things, papakita natin, lalagay natin transferred in as to transferred in cost, as to direct material cost, and conversion cost. There. And then, you do know na, syempre, i-bring down natin yan. So, yan, cost to account for, 277,942. And then, divide by the EUP, nanggaling sa taas. So, EUP. And then, divide natin yan, divided by the cost divided by the EUP, cost per EUP. Lalabas yung ating cost per EUP. And pwede natin yan i-add dito sa right, sa left, para what if kompleto siya lahat, that's 26.10. So, there. Pretty much the same. Once again, just a new column, transferred in cost. Cost assignment. So, yung completed costs natin or transferred out costs. Same thing. As you know, sa FIFO, you separate first the beginning or the beginning cost because it is kind of separate. And then, saka lang natin nilalagay ang costs to complete. No? Yan. To complete this particular product, remember, yun yung portion ng completed na tinapos natin ngayon. So, to complete the beginning inventory, makita natin yan dito. As to transferred in costs, complete na siya. So, no more transferred in cost. As to materials, remember, meron pang 85 na tinapos ngayon. 85 EUP na tinapos ngayon at 1.80 plus may 60 na tinapos ngayon times 2.5. So, this is the cost to complete the beginning inventory. Hindi natin sa formula. There. And, yan. And, add natin dito sa right. So, that's the first part. And then, yung started and completed, again, it's part of completed na started ngayon. So, how many units? Hanapin natin dito sa taas. How many units is started and completed? It is this one. It is 8,400. Pwede na natin yan isabay. 8,450. So, then ay 8,450 units started and completed times the total cost of 26.10. Todo na natin. Since they're all the same, multiply natin. There. 22,220,545. And then ending inventory, remember sa ending inventory sa cost assignment, per cost component, determine how much portion was complete at i-compute. As to transferred in, as to this particular component, ito ay 200 units na kompleto, 100% times whatever the cost of transferred in 21.8. And this first part will give you 200 times 21.8. This material part, ano yung tinapos ngayon? Ano yung natapos so far? 60. So, 60 units times 1.8. And then, as to conversion, let's look at it. That's 130 units at 2.5. So, that's ending inventory. Total natin yung tatlo. And then, total natin yung tatlo. Itong sum. And notice na babalanse siya. Total cost to account for, 227,942. Total cost accounted for, 227,942. So, there's how the assignment. It's essentially the same. No? It's essentially the same lang naman. So, how does it look into the T accounts and the accounting entries. So T account, um, a work in process inventory of the finishing department. If it's a multi-department setting, then you will have work in process inventory per each department to segregate. So for the finishing department, there's a specific account, work in process account for finishing. It starts with syempre, the beginning balance natin na you would know as 2301. And then costs natin, no? Transferred in cost. Ito yung cost na galing sa previous department na pumasok sa atin. It's a in this case, debit work in process finishing, credit work in process assembly. So, bawas sa assembly, dagdag sa finishing. That's the cost of transferred in cost na 188,570. And then, papasok yung direct material and conversion cost that was incurred. The material cost that was incurred is ito. The conversion cost that was incurred is this one. And then, after all of that, remember, it's now a part of all of these things were completed. So, costs transferred out are completed plus itong dalawa. Basically, itong dalawa. So, yeah. Klaro lang natin. There. That's okay. So, that's 223,149. So, we bring it down. So, if you total all of those and then minus the transferred out, ang ending dapat ay 4793, which is really sa cost assignment, yun na rin. And that would how the T account look like. So, ayun. So, once again, cost accounting, a process costing for a subsequent department is very similar with a single department. You have just to account for the costs transferred. So, ayan. Hanggang dito na lang muna tayo. Maraming salamat and see you in the next lesson.